Hey there, welcome to day 137 of playing chess until I reach 1500 Elo. Currently we're at 1309 after a draw in our last game. And let's go ahead and jump into another 15-minute rapid game here today. So, see what we get. Okay, got a 1223. And we got black here, so we're going to play the Caro-Kann. Okay, I think we had the same start yesterday in our last video. Okay, knight out. And then the last time, okay, he just takes, so keep it simple. The last time they played here and then I took the pawn, then things got really crazy. So now we have the normal Tartakower variation, which is definitely one of my weaker ones in terms of my knowledge. I really don't know too much about Tartakower. I'm pretty comfortable generally with the exchange variation and the advanced variation. Okay, I think I want to go ahead and get this bishop out. Sometimes I don't know where to put this bishop. I think I'm just going to take it out here. Go ahead and pin the knight. And me keep in mind if I ever want to play here. Try to send his bishop back, although it's just going to end him up being on this diagonal, which is going to be a pretty strong diagonal for him anyway. Okay, let's go ahead and, we want the rook to come out. I think I'll go ahead and bring the rook out and pin his bishop. I think he'll castle. I'll probably bring the knight here. Yeah, let's go for that. To fix my mic. There we go, we're back. Okay, so he's hitting this. He's also hitting this. So, I'm thinking queen. You don't want to allow him to capture here. I'm thinking queen up to guard both, potentially, or rook up. Rook up prepares the other rook to come up. Is there any downside to that? Knight coming in, bishop. I don't think there's any major risk. I'm just not sure which one I want to do. I could also go here to guard both and then create my own pressure. I think I like that. Or rook. I do like that the rook makes it easy to stack up. Queen here. This is covered. We're not really threatening too much. Yeah, let's go like this. So we guard both the pawns, and we create our own pressure, because I'm threatening to capture here, and then I don't think we want to take right away, if he doesn't castle that way. Okay, no, he castles the other way. So now if I do take here, he will open up his rooks towards my king. How much of a concern is that? Do I want to avoid it? I'm not sure. It might be okay. Because it will create major weaknesses if we get to the endgame. I should probably just develop my knight. I think I will probably take here. If I take here, get rid of my slightly worse bishop. Actually, I mean, it is still pinned, so maybe he's not going to leave it. I think I have time to just comfortably develop my knight. Actually, the only thing is if I develop the knight, we block this off. So maybe I should actually use the rook to guard here. Oh, wait a second. You know what? Okay, no, never mind. I thought he trapped his bishop for a second, but he has this diagonal to escape to. But I think I might play this anyway to send his bishop back so he doesn't have this pressure. This pawn will be a little bit weak, but it's covered by the queen. So I think I like that move. Send the bishop back, and then I can comfortably develop the knight without worrying about this. Let's do that. Okay, so yeah, bishop comes there. He might try to align the bishop and the queen there. To put pressure here on h7. But I'm going to use the knight, the typical idea with the knight, which is bring it to f8 to guard this, and then there's never going to be a threat there. Yeah, let's go ahead and go there. And then my goal, I think, will be to try to stack up Okay, do I want to take here and allow the rooks to come here and hit the king? I think it's okay. Because if the knight's here, I can also move the knight to here. And then just kind of use it to block. Although, what if he pushes the pawn? Maybe I throw my pawn forward as well. Do have to be careful about the dangers there. Otherwise, I just drop my bishop back, which actually, this is not too bad of an idea. Maybe I can't decide actually, because I really like the look of these isolated double pawns if I do take. If we can trade down and get to an endgame. So if I can just take, survive, make it to an endgame, okay, I think I will. I think it's probably worth going for. I think I can defend against the threats that he'll create. I'm gonna go knight back to here. But the knight can serve both roles, guarding. Also, I might just use the knight here and then slide the king over. Okay, he's gonna attack there. Also, I like... do I like this? Yeah, I do. I think I like this. Because then I'm trying to trade, win a pawn, get my queen in here with check, open everything up for my pieces to kind of attack, instead of just him kind of pressuring on all the diagonals here. Because if I push here, am I okay with that? He might sacrifice. So yeah, I think let's block this off immediately. Let's immediately try to trade the bishop. Because if I do push this pawn and he has the dark square bishop, I could see that as a sacrifice that he might go for. So yeah, we're threatening to win this pawn. We have two attackers. His pieces aren't quite as nicely coordinated as they were. He doesn't have any batteries. If we can trade down and then keep him with these weak pawns, then we're going to be looking pretty good in the endgame. So I'm happy to go for that. Okay, he defends. That definitely makes sense. Do I want to trade now anyway? I think I might just stack up and still threaten to win the pawn there. Actually, no, I can't because this is my defender with the bishop. I could take, he takes, then stack up. We hit the pawns. He is able to push the pawn. I think I want to keep him with the double isolated pawns. So maybe I just try to stack my rooks here. Does he have a move here? So yeah, I think I don't want him to have tempo there, so I think I'll go here. Also, actually, I'm noticing that... Oh no, never mind. I thought that this pawn was pinned for a second, but my pawn's in the way here. Okay, so I think trying to stack the rooks up and just create more pressure on the open file. I think I like that. And also, if he does take here first, we take here with check. Because I realize that that actually could be a threat if we didn't take with check there. Because take. But yeah, we take with check, so we're should be all good if he decides to take the bishop. Or actually, we take this way with check too. So yeah, if he takes the bishop, either way, we're fine. Because we get check when we capture back. And then we can take after with the rook. And we're getting ready to stack this up, which will renew the threat of winning the pawn here. Also, if I could get on this light square diagonal with my queen somewhere, I could easily target this pawn and maybe force him to go back with his bishop or something to guard it, and then his bishop is less active, his light square bishop. If I could force some defensive moves like that, that would be helpful for the position. And I think if he just starts... Okay, uses his king to guard the bishop. I'm not sure what... Oh, I guess he just doesn't want me to capture with check, but it's okay. Oh wait, no, it's not okay, because he is threatening to capture now. Because if I capture the rook, that's not with check either, I see. So I might have to go back. Actually, you know what? I can just double stack, because then if he captures... Oh wait, no, because then he's looking at the queen. So capture, capture... Yeah, that doesn't work. Capture here... No, it does work, because it guards the rook. So I can just take back here, and if he takes the rook, we take back, and then we should be all fine. So I think I can just do this. We just take back. The rook is now guarded. I think that's fine. Because I really want to be able to double stack. So if I'm able to double stack and not have to play some other move first, then that's what I want to do. Okay, he pushes the pawn, but we are able to win his pawn now, because we have 3 attackers. And if he does push here, if I push, I don't think it's all that dangerous. And I'll also be threatening this pawn, double attacking this. So I could try to play a defensive move here. Like push this pawn, which might be safer. Or I could just go ahead and capture. Let me see, capture, he captures. I capture, he captures, I capture. He pushes, I push. Rook, no, it can't check because the bishop covers that. Yeah, I think he pushes, I push, and then I just have to be careful about the queen attacking with this pawn with the help of the pawn. I might just push this. If I push this right now to avoid him pushing any further and keep the pawns okay, then can he do anything to even defend the bishop? He could still take and I take, but I'm still fine with trading. I guess I won't win the pawn. Okay, I think I can just take. I think I'd rather... Actually, you know what? I don't care that much about winning the pawn, because this pawn's already weak and I can probably win it later. I think I'm going to push it to not get my king opened up and have these double rooks and all that. I mean, I guess I pushed to not open it up, but that creates weaknesses of its own. So I think pushing might be the best way. I think I'm going to do that. Play defensively for this one. Don't want the pawn to open anything up or force weakening moves. I mean, I guess this could be a weakening move on its own, but I think it's okay. And then we take and we win the pawn, right? I think we're good to just take here. And just have to be aware of the queen here. I mean, yeah, I think we're good. We trade down up a pawn and he has this isolated pawn. Also, if his rook moves at all, I have this check if the rook moves away, which could be useful potentially. Okay, bishop kind of closes the rook in here. I think it's probably time that my knight can come back out. Maybe go to here, hit the bishop. He's also hitting here. If my queen moves away, that will be under attack. But yeah, I think the knight might be what I want to do now. Here, yeah, that probably makes the most sense. Is he threatening to trap and win the rook? Rook can go back to here. If he goes here, then it is trapped. So I can't go here to guard. Can't go here. I could go check here first. Then he comes down, then I go here. Then we come back, get on a dark square, get safe. Or I could go back all the way, then here. But this one, the check comes with tempo. So I think, yeah, I think we do need to save the rook before anything else, because it's just about to get trapped here. So let's go check first. And I don't think he really has any threats. The bishop doesn't seem to be a threat. This, I think, just slide over, avoid any pinning issues. Yeah, I think we're good. So, check. And then we slide over to here. Also, I could actually... No, never mind. I can't do this because he's going to move his king off of this. I was going to say I could try to forcibly trade, but yeah, once the king moves, this is not going to be a check. Because I was thinking if I check, and then he has to take, and then I take back with the queen, then we just simplify more, trade more pieces off. But he's going to go here, hit the rook, and then I will not have that check anymore. Okay, no, he goes back instead. Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing of just come here. And then down here. Although, what if he pushes the pawn? Actually. But I can still just try to trade here even though it's not with check, actually. I think I'm just going to do that. Because if I go here and he pushes the pawn, the bishop hits the rook and the pawn covers this square that I wanted to escape to. So... yeah, I think I will go here. Only thing is if he does take, I take, he does get to take here. But do I have something I can do after? I think I probably do. Maybe not. I don't really want to lose a pawn. Actually, wait, after he takes, then I take here. Take here, and then if he takes here, then I take here. So I think we both take 2 pawns, and this last one would be with check. So I think I can do that. Let me double check that. So take, 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 take with check. I don't see any attacks he has on the king. Okay, I think I could do that. So let's try to trade. If he does move away, then I can just take this pawn. Okay, try to trade. I think I like it. If he tries to... no, he can't go here. I was thinking if he tries to line up a battery, maybe I'll block with the knight or something, but my pawn's already guarding that, so I think it's okay. I do still have to be careful with the way this pawn is, kind of taking up some space here, restricting the king a little bit and restricting the knight a little bit. But I think we're good. Okay, he does move to the side. I think I'm going to go ahead and take this. This is pinned, but he's not attacking either of the pawns. This is pinned. But if he goes there with the rook, I just take with the knight. So yeah, I think I'll just take the pawn. I also could give check. Wait, check. Down, check. Down to one of those 2 squares. I would have another check here. Or here. And then he comes... no, he can't go that way. Then he comes to this square. Well, that looks kind of... that looks pretty dangerous for him, actually. And also, this is almost a fork, but it's not guarded, though. So, do I just take the pawn, or do I go for these checks? I can always take after if I want. And he's not really threatening too much, except for taking this pawn. I think I'm going to try giving the checks. Or, is there a way I can just threaten mate right away? I don't know if there is. I can't just immediately go back. Because if I give check, he's able to kind of walk it down, but then it forces him into the middle of the board when I have a king and a rook there. Or a queen and a rook, I mean. Okay, let's give the check. I think that this looks really dangerous for him, even though I don't see an immediate mate. I don't see an immediate mate, but there could be something there. Let's give another check. And then I have this check, so this is what I was looking at. Is there another one, though, that I've overlooked that could be good? Don't have that. I think I have to give this one. And then it kind of forces him down here, because if he goes here, that's mate. Yeah, it forces him down, and then we maybe have this check. Takes en passant, take. This could almost be mate. This could be very close to mate. Actually, wait, no, he can't go down. Never mind, I totally overlooked that my queen is guarding this. So he has to go here. And then if he goes there, then I go check here. I think we have mate, right? Potentially. Yeah, I actually missed that the queen covers this, which is really important. So everything is cut off except for this. But once he goes there, we go here. And this is mate, is it not? Yes. Okay. That was a nice checkmate that we found there. I almost just went ahead and took the pawn, which we would have still had a nice position, I think, and been winning, but there was basically a forced mate, I think, that was sitting there ready for us. And let's go ahead and take a look at the game review. We're up to 13-15 after that game. I think my accuracy will be good. 82.9, pretty good. I did have a blunder. I actually am not sure what my blunder was. He must have missed it. What was my blunder? Yeah, I don't remember having a blunder. I don't think he saw whatever it was. And he had 67.6. He had 2 blunders. We both had 2 mistakes. He had a couple inaccuracies. I had 1 inaccuracy. Alright, let's go through the moves here. Okay, this is just standard Tartakower Caro-Kann setup. Okay, so taking the bishop out there was fine. It did want the rook check first. I guess, yeah, we get the little bit of tempo with that. But then he is just going to develop. Maybe it forces a slightly worse developing move because he has to block himself in. So I guess that makes sense. Or like pin his bishop if he blocks with that. Okay, this was best. We're guarding both pawns here and setting up a battery. And I think him castling that way, castling that to this side with these really weakened, this really weakened diagonal, and the pawns all pushed, just honestly did not seem like a good idea. I think if he castled the other way right away, then I would have had take and here, and that would have been really bad for him as well. But I think if I were him, I would have maybe kept the king in the center and tried to make some other preparing moves to try to castle kingside, since this pawn structure is just so much better. If you can just prevent me from messing it up here and then castle that way, that seems a lot better. So maybe even dropping the bishop back or something so that I can't capture the knight and mess this up. Although I guess I could still... No, I can't capture this until after he castles. Because if I capture this, if the knight's gone and then I capture this pawn, he's able to push and then trap my bishop in and win my bishop on the next move. So, yeah, I think he could have still made some preparatory moves there and then been able to castle kingside. Because this, when he did this, I felt like we would have some good attacks and chances against him with him castling queenside with the bad pawns. Okay, so pushing here was actually best as well. Knight out. Okay, no, it did prefer the bishop back, which I considered. Let's see. I was thinking his queen would go here to discard the pawn. No, oh no, it's the same thing actually. If I do take the pawn, my bishop does get trapped. So it wants queen here, inviting me to take, and if we take that, should be, yeah. Oh yeah, and also he doubles up here, so that's even worse, yeah. But it still wanted me to play that move anyway. We have a 0.9 advantage here, so almost a full pawn worth of advantage. Okay, we do go ahead. Yeah, the knight comes out. It says this was good. We still have an advantage. We do go ahead and capture. The engine wasn't a huge fan. It did want the bishop to come back, come back and still hit the queen there. And then this was actually a mistake. See, normally this is a really good move. Well, it's not like the engine thinks it's amazing on its own, but it's really good in that it defends a lot of the common attacks that white can create on this diagonal. So I don't actually know why it was so bad in this case. Because if he creates this battery, I mean, I don't want to be pushing pawns to defend against it. I'd much rather have a piece that can just hold things together and keep my pawn structure solid. So I'm not sure why this was bad, actually. I wanted the knight to come over this way. I guess we used the knight to attack stuff, attack his bishop, but still I'm concerned about this battery. I guess pushing the pawn is fine, but a lot of times pushing the pawn is not fine. In a lot of situations. So that did give white a winning position here, +1 apparently. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and say C follow-up. Okay, pushes the pawn. Queen takes. Okay. So there was a crazy sequence there to just win a pawn, I guess. That involved some discovered attacks and a bunch of stuff. It was okay. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. The engine would have obviously considers that losing for me, but I think he had to find that exact sequence for it to be bad. It was pushing, I take, he takes, and then I think he sacked his queen here, and then I took back, and then he sacked his bishop to win this pawn, and then the rook takes it back. Yeah, that's really hard tactic to see in a real game. Okay, so he didn't find that, obviously, and then bringing the bishop out to challenge his bishop was good. Stacking the rooks was best, and it didn't like this. This was a mistake. I really wasn't too sure, but I was a little uneasy about the idea of this pawn pushing again, and then having to push this, and then this pawn becomes weak, and it just creates a lot more weaknesses. And then if the queen can come over, if this pawn's here and I push, if the queen can somehow get on this dark square diagonal, he will be threatening mate in one, which later on could become an issue. So that's why I was worried about it. It looks like playing that, though, did take me from a 1.5 advantage down to a 0.5 advantage. It wanted me to just go ahead and capture and win the pawn. So let's take a look. If I go here, here, win the pawn, he takes, I take, and then he pushes. Okay, I just ignore it. What if I did this, though? Because this is what I was thinking. Still fine. We're up. It's minus 1.7 advantage for black. Okay, so we were fine either way. I mean, I was scared of like theoretical weaknesses, but I didn't see a concrete issue with it, and it looks like we're mostly okay. And even just ignoring it, taking this pawn, and then letting him capture. If he gives a check, I mean, yeah, just block with the knight, I guess. He has two attackers, but I have the two pawns defending and the king defending, so I guess we're kind of unstoppable there. We're also threatening to win the rook here with this check. Okay, so yeah, I guess we were fine if we did that, but it just looked kind of scary to allow that to happen. And then here he blundered. We win the pawn. Apparently, just moving the rook down was a blunder. It wanted this pawn to push again. If he pushed this pawn, okay, he doesn't have the tactic, I don't think, anymore that he had previously. Take, take, take. We still just do this. And then he takes here. I think I just take here. Yeah. Oh no, then he double attacks and can take this. So he actually does regain some material, the pawn that he was down. Okay, but yeah, he didn't play that. He moved the rook, so that was a blunder. He blundered a pawn, and it was a pretty important pawn because it was kind of, I mean, the bishop and the pawn there were holding this file closed, and now it opens up, and his king is pretty weak and exposed. He tries to trap the rook. It was, the engine considered a mistake, though. I mean, if I just played a random move, like if I did bring the knight into the game, which I was considering, then we're in a lot of trouble. I mean, I could still take the bishop, so it's not like I lose the rook outright. It wants me to play here, though. Here, and we allow him to take. Oh, and then I fork here. I see. Here, here. Okay, that's pretty nice, actually. Wouldn't have seen that from that far away, most likely. But yeah, it doesn't like this move. I think, yeah, he just really was focused on trying to trap this, thinking I would overlook it, and I think I almost did, but then I realized that it looks pretty dangerous here. Like, if the rook can't go backwards and the king is this close to it, that should be raising some red flags. So we give the check. It didn't like this as much. Right now it's actually showing this. And then if he attacks, then I could go check. Okay. Yeah, I guess that was a decent option as well. I think what we played was okay, though. Even though it says inaccurate, but it at least maintained a significant advantage that we had. This was a blunder. So I thought I calculated this, and I thought we were fine. Let me see what I missed here. So if he takes, I take, I remove the defender of the pawn. So he takes the pawn. But then I go here. Okay, it's wanting me to give this check, but let's say I go here, because this is what I planned for. Okay, oh, never mind. So he takes with the queen. I see. That's what I missed, is I thought he would take with the bishop here, and then I take with check. But he can just take with the queen, and then he has regained the material. So that's why that was a blunder. Slight miscalculation there, but he did not go for it. We would have still been equal. Yeah, we would have been totally equal right here. But I'm not a big fan of it, though. I think I do like it better for white because the bishop versus my very inactive right now knight in a pretty open position. Yeah, I think white looks better there. So I'm glad he didn't see that. And then after he moved the rook, okay, it's not a force mate. Still not a force mate. But then this became a force mate once he tried to run away this way. But I thought if he goes here right away, is that not? Oh no, never mind, because I haven't moved my rook over yet. So if I go rook over, then where does he go? Then he goes here. How does he escape? He has to go. Oh, never mind. I totally forgot that the queen is just guarding that square, so I couldn't give the check here. I gave the check here because nothing is guarding that, but this square is guarded by the queen. So we still have a massive advantage, though, almost a 6-point advantage. And then also, it wants us to go here. What does this do? I'm not sure that I see it right away. He takes here. Queen comes here. We're threatening to capture the pawn. What if he just goes back with the bishop? Then rook comes here. Okay, so these, I mean, these are kind of complicated moves. So now we're threatening, oh yeah, we're threatening take, check, win the rook. So it wants him to actually just sack the bishop, apparently. It says we have mate in 12, so no matter what, we have a great position here. And honestly, it was kind of hard for him to find the right move there. He had to go to the correct square, and I mean, even then, we were completely winning. So he went to the wrong square, we got the mate in 2. And yeah, I think there's not much more to look at. I guess the main thing was just my blunder here. Even though it basically just blundered the pawn back, because I didn't realize he would take the second pawn with the queen, and that this one would stay guarded, which I was planning on taking. But it still just brought us back to drawing. At no point did he really have an advantage, except for, it looks like there was one little spike here earlier on. Yeah, so when I did move the knight, because of this weird tactic that very few people I think would find, to like sack, take the pawn, and then sack the queen, and then sack this bishop to win my queen back. Yeah, if he had seen that, we would have been down here. But aside from this little moment where there was a good tactic for him, we had an advantage the whole time. And then this was the biggest mistake, brought us back to drawing. But he did not see that, and then we found a nice mate. So, yep, pretty straightforward game. We're up to 13-15. This has been day 137, I believe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on day 138.